Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of Girl You Know It. We are so excited for you to join us for another episode in our season 4. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, Girl You Know It is an offshoot podcast for Black Women Connect Vancouver. Black Women Connect Vancouver is a collective of women and femmes who come together to inspire, empower, leverage our experiences, and embrace our diverse strengths. It's a community where us folks in Vancouver and the Lower Mainland can build meaningful relationships and celebrate the beauty of womanhood. And the podcast is a space where we want to create connection in a different way to talk about our shared experiences as Black women in serious and fun ways and everything in between. So my name is Elle. I am one of your regular co-hosts. I am the Community Engagement and Volunteer Coordinator for Black Women Connect Vancouver going on 4 years.
Ooh, 4 years. I get it.
Exactly.
Got her.
I'm going to pass it over to my other co-hosts.
My name is Abby. I'm the project assistant for Black Women Connect Vancouver, going on since, well, the beginning, but the technical title. Yeah. For I guess this is my year too.
Yeah,
so cute.
In the beginning of your intro, I thought you were gonna be like rap. You're like, my name is
Abby. Hey, you know I would get down with that.
I know. I was like, that should be your new intro. My name is Nataisi Mukwabi, and I am the founder of Black Women Connect Vancouver, which has been going for 6 years now, Sue.
Wow.
It's actually so wild.
I know.
Crazy.
It feels like it's been like a staple for like my whole life.
Right?
Yeah.
Like actually. Though.
Yeah. We have met some incredible people.
And that's the thing.
Yes.
Yeah, like life-changing.
Mm-hmm.
And another life-changing thing that we're going to do is interview our guest today.
Yes. Woohoo.
We are so excited to have the fantastic Kelsey.
Hey.
I'm going to pass it over to you, babe, to like introduce yourself.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, please do. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Kelsey, and I'm the owner of Healthy With Kelsey. I'm a body positive fitness coach and a registered holistic nutritionist, and I'm really just out there changing people's fitness game and just helping them to show up in their body in a way that's authentic and exciting and helps them to really redefine what they believe about health and what that looks like.
I love that. Yes. Okay, so my first question for you is, why did you choose or decide to start Healthy with Kelsey? Because, you know, I know a lot of like fitness coaches can like work at a gym or work whatever, and like you decided to like personally brand it. So like what made you decide to do that?
I was definitely one of those coaches before. I worked in a conventional fitness gym. And for about 8 years, I worked actually the polar opposite of the work that I do now. I was very much an advocate of weight loss and the go hard, no pain, no gain lifestyle. Internally, I was struggling with my own disordered eating behaviors and disordered relationship with exercise. And really what I was seeing was this common thread throughout the work that I was doing with clients one-on-one, with my own relationship. And I realized that regardless of what we look like on this external surface, we are all striving for this same goal, this same ideal body, and we are forever unsatisfied and not appreciating where we are currently at and what we have. Yeah. And for me, kind of unpacking my relationship with exercise and doing a lot of self-growth work, I really woke up and realized I don't want to be a contributor to that system. Yeah. And in fact, I have been harmed from that same system, and I want to do better. And once you know better, you do better. Yeah. So that's kind of how I got, from one end of the spectrum in the fitness industry to really this other end of the spectrum where I'm now a body positive fitness coach. And, that's been through both experience and getting to really work with people on an individual level as well as collective level.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing.
It's very lovely.
Yes.
I mean, I think that like the fact that you like went from like one end of the extreme to the other, how was that like transition for you? Because I feel like we're socialized and steeped in like your body is not good. Like your body, no matter what body you're in, even if it's like the model type that you see, those people are still like struggling with their body.
Exactly.
So like, how did you make that jump like internally? I know you said self-growth, but like how? Because like people like it's a mind game. You gotta think about your mind. But like it's hard because your mind's very powerful.
What are you telling your mind? Exactly. What should we be saying?
You know, it's interesting because I think sometimes people have this idea that like this is like an overnight change.
Yeah.
I just meditate, 100 times, like, and like have this shift. And maybe that is what it's like for some people. But for me, it's really been this like evolution of self. And it's this journey that is continuing to keep going. Like I don't think I've ever reached, this place where I'm like 100% of the time comfortable with who I am and how I look. I don't think that anyone ever reaches that, but there is a certain level of surrendering and a certain level of acceptance within that. Because, if I were to expect that of other people, I wouldn't do that. So I don't know why I'd be so self-critical of myself to expect the same.
Yeah.
So it's been this evolutionary journey that has been years in the making. And I really look at all of those moments in my life that were lows or difficult struggles through that process and recognize that they are really the things that have helped me to bridge the gap to where I am today. I wouldn't understand what it's like to exist in a body without having experienced shame about it, without experiencing the guilt, without experiencing microaggressions, without experiencing all of these things that really put a knife into like who we think we are. And getting to experience that firsthand has really helped me to have a relatability and to help really connect with people on that level of like, hey, I understand because I've been there too. Yeah. And I think that's really powerful. I think that vulnerability and sharing that is really powerful.
Definitely. Yeah. And I feel like you said that and I'm like going back to like teenage Elle and like early 20s Elle who really struggled, and like how the evolution of like my mindset, even though like some days I'm like, oh, I wish I could fit into that thing that I used to fit in. I'm like, crap. But like, I think it's huge. How do you find being like a fitness coach in like that world as like a woman, a Black woman in a like a regular sized body?
I think, from a certain standpoint, Black people in general have always been kind of elevated in this sense of like athleticism in almost like this very stereotypical way. Yeah. And to a certain degree that has actually kind of diminished some of my abilities and the things that I have achieved because people have been like, oh, well, she just has that body because it's genetic. Or it's just, she's just achieved these things or been such an athlete because of her genes, And it's kind of like diminishing the hard work that I had put in behind the scenes. So on one end of the spectrum, I feel like I experienced that. But on the other end of the spectrum, I recognize that there is not a lot of representation in this industry. And, as part of that, there's always like this, like, the one Black girl. Like when they're looking for like diversity or you're like scrolling through YouTube, they'll put like one person of color for every like 10 non-person of color. And so you're kind of, you don't have anyone to really look up to. You don't know anybody who's like really done that or who hasn't aligned with, the powers that be, I guess you could say, that also uphold those same industry standards. So it's really difficult to have idea of what that can look like. And so I think for myself, I've really had to kind of create this Healthy with Kelsey as a way to like define what I think should exist. And if you don't see it, create it.
Exactly.
It's kind of what she did. Exactly what she did.
I say that all the time. I just think in general, like anytime you feel there's like a void in anything, just create it. Because that means someone else is looking for it. And I mean, I agree. Like I think the wellness world in Vancouver specifically is so not diverse. I mean, if you look at anything, it's so hard to just get in spaces, even if I'm like, oh, let's go do this place, or I want to go try this out. And it's like you go and you step in, you're like,
not for me. I'm gonna slowly move that out of here. I don't want to be the only one. Honestly.
Or it's like you just don't feel comfortable, or like comments made to you, or it's like they're either so excited to have you there, and you're like, I'm not even comfortable because you're so excited. Or they don't talk
the one Black song, they're like, you got it, you got it, right?
You can't really like know melt in the background.
No.
You always stand out.
Yeah.
You always recognize and notice when you step into a room. Strictly based on the color.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why we want to create like a lot more spaces for wellness for Black women to understand you can experience it, and even if it's just amongst each other, then we can have more of an understanding of what wellness looks like. Because I think a lot of the Black women in Vancouver are having a hard time to get into the wellness spaces and like try new things. It's because of that. They just don't feel comfortable. So I guess, how would you let other Black women know, like, this is kind of ways you can kind of step into the wellness world?
Yeah. Ooh. I think it's a level of comfort. And I think that comfort starts with how you feel about yourself.
Yeah.
And when you feel very secure in who you are, the space will not matter. Because you'll also recognize that you being in that space then is a light for other people who look like you to show up in that same space.
That's true.
Exactly.
And so getting there,
Then done. Yeah, for sure.
but I think if you really want to, experience something, you just have to go for it. And, hope for the best. Sometimes it's that scary leap of faith that you have to take and like step into that dance class. And yes, there's going to be people who are going to expect you because this is a hip hop class. Oh, she probably knows how to dance, and you've never danced a day in your life. And you look like ridiculous, and you just have to accept that and own it and have fun and enjoy the process. I think so often we're looking at that destination, the outcome of our wellness and the outcome of our fitness, that we forget about like the journey it is to getting there. And that is the part that is so important. That's where all the growth comes from.
No, for sure.
And the enjoyability and the comfortability in your own body. You need to move it in a different way that you're like, oh, I'm challenging myself. I think that's what the thing that I love the most about like the spin classes we've done, the Pilates classes we've done. People come and they're like, I never knew I could move my body this way. I really enjoy it, and it was like so special to do my first time with like all Black women. It's like it like sticks as like a core memory.
Oh, for sure.
And then when they that builds the confidence for them to go step into other spaces that may not have the Black women, but like I did it, and I remember, and I'm channeling that feeling. I hated spin before this, y'all. Like literally,
I think a lot, for when you speak about wellness, it is kind of like that. To really get the maximal benefit of wellness and fitness and movement and meditation and yoga and all, you have to be present. And it's very difficult to be present when you're in a space where you don't feel comfortable. And so for Black women to come together and to have that collective space held to just be your authentic self and be loved unconditionally just as you are allows those barriers to come down so that you can have the full experience of being present in that moment.
No, it's so
and that's
true.
why it sticks so much more and you receive so much more from it.
That's girl. Now I'm like, I'm looking forward to spin. My legs are gonna be like tight.
Exactly. Good now.
So in terms of like your like internet presence, like you have like branded yourself as our like internet like workout bestie, and I really appreciate this. Actually, my sister put me on you. Like I had seen you before, and then she's like, oh, I'm doing these like home workouts, and like it's with Kelsey, and I'm like, I think I remember like seeing that person, and then I saw you like, oh wow, a person who like looks like me and like has a body like me, but bestie, and I'm like, okay, that's optimism, but like is it overly positive and like, or is it like real? So like how do you like go that fine line without being like this like
this is too much,
like those like white people who are like you can do it, and you're like I know I can, but I'm dying right now, like please, like how do you
I need like a healthy dose of
yes.
I think that's what makes me that true bestie friend, because I love you, but I'm gonna be straight with you, and I think a lot of us, there's always like this like over hyper positivity, especially within like the body positive field. And there's not much of that like realism that people really need in those difficult conversations. And I feel like by being vulnerable in a way that I talk to people, that gets through to them as if I'm talking to you,
face to face.
It allows their wall to come down and then them to be vulnerable as well. And that's where connection really happens. The root of all connection is vulnerability. If you can't have that, then it's going to be very difficult to connect. So I think for myself, I want to be that advocate and that hype girl and that yes, you can do it and I believe in you. But what's more importantly is I want you to believe in yourself. And by, being real showing the highs and the lows, as well as keeping it real and having those difficult conversations with you and be like, have you really considered this part though? Have you done the work? Have you really, like, yes, you want to lose weight, you want to lose like 15 pounds, and it's going to be great, your life's going to change, that's what you think, but let me reel you back in for a moment, and let's actually discuss some of the underlying factors that may be more important here. And I think, by having those conversations, it feels like talking to a friend. And I've had people DM me and be like, oh my goodness, like when you make these videos, like I feel like you're creating them for me.
Wow.
And I think that's where that bestie comes from.
That must be so powerful for you to be like, it's landing, it's landing.
Oh my goodness. So, I really doubt myself sometimes. And then I receive those types of messages and it's so affirming.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Like all the trolls that said blah, 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 blah.
Yes.
It's all worth like that one person who messaged me that, that comment that was like life-changing for them. And it's so worth it.
I mean, even you talking right now, I'm like, yes.
I know.
I know everything you're saying. I'm like, yeah, girl, I agree. I'm so for it.
I'm listening and I'm being pulled into it.
Yes, tell me more. Especially like I feel like now, because I guess growing up I was kind of always like, the skinnier, petite, short girl growing up, which that's also another topic because you got bullied for that as well. But like now after motherhood and my body has completely changed and I don't fit a lot of my clothes and all these things, I'm like, what does this look like now for me? Like my body has changed. It doesn't move the same way. I'm also now not comfortable in this new body, but I need to get comfortable in this new body because I have to accept this new body. It's not going anywhere. But also like, how do I get healthy again? Like I know I'm not going to be that same person because your hips change and everything. But so I feel like I'm in that stage right now. So like what kind of like would you say to a person like that who is going through kind of like a body change where it's not like you're trying to lose weight, but you kind of get comfortable in a new body that you're in, right?
That's a great question. I think we have this very narrow window of what we think a healthy body looks like, what the ideal body looks like. And even when we compare it to ourselves and we say, okay, well, I'm just comparing it to where I've been in my body. That's also very much based on a timeline of your life. The only thing that we know for sure about our body is that it's going to change. Right? And when we put so much emphasis and so much value on our physical appearance and we hold it to kind of like this pedestal where we expect ourselves to always remain the same, then we're always going to be disappointed as our body inevitably changes.
Girl.
And so
Girl.
Right? And like we hear it, we know that like as a mother your body's going to change, but to experience it is also very different. And I think there's this sort of grieving process that we don't talk enough about, which is having a past version of yourself and wanting to get there, but also knowing that maybe that wasn't the best version of yourself either, and you can be a new version of yourself that is better. Even if that means your body that you're existing in this space looks different than that.
That makes sense.
So I think for my piece of advice would be to allow change. And I think so many of us are resistant to change. Nobody likes anything. Like once we are like so solid in what we know, we like don't want it to change. But I think embracing that change and knowing, I think especially from the perspective of a mother, and I can't say much because I'm not a mom yet, but just knowing that for your children, that you want them to have a healthy relationship with their body. So being that is gonna do so much more than just thinking about it or saying it. It's being true to that as you walk through life.
No, for sure. Makes sense.
You said there's something you said, and me and Abby just looked at
We looked at each other and we were like, oh.
But I was even thinking about you, like even like your journey, like when you were getting married, you were like, I have to do this, I have to do this, and it's like that was really hard for you as well.
It was. I don't even know what to say about it. It's still a journey. It's still a process of.
And I want to say that too, and really highlight that it's still a process for me too. There are days where I'm feeling like so good about myself, and then other days I'm feeling absolute trash with anxiety and imposter syndrome. It's like, and I think accepting both parts of myself equally has been something that's really important. And knowing that how can I possibly experience joy and happiness if I haven't experienced pain and despair? So like you can't just have one without really appreciating the other. And that for some reason gives me like a sense of peace.
And I've also been trying to be like, I would never say this to my friend. I would never say this to anybody that I know. Why am I saying this to myself? Like,
we're so critical.
we are so critical of ourselves, and I'm like, that's that toxic trait that I need to really work on.
I don't think it's just you, babe. I think it's like all of us.
Yeah.
We've been socialized to like really be like self-critical about every single thing that we do. And it's like layers, right? Like as a human being, and then as like a woman, and then as a black woman or femme. It's like extra magnifying glass on us. And it's like we can't stop the voice, even though we're like, yo, be kind.
Yes.
Like inner child is like hurting real hard right now. You know?
Yeah, it's definitely not easy, and you're definitely not the only person that feels that way. I think we all struggle with that, and we all carry a lot of self-doubt because of the expectations that we put on ourselves from what other people want for us. And I think, this part where you talk about this evolution over time and how I've gotten to this place, part of it is like, yes, the self-growth work, and part of it's like getting older and like mature and like really feeling whole in who I am. That I think it's easier to allow those days that are difficult and to be critical of myself, knowing that that's not the truest version of myself. Right? Or that it is, and so are the good days. And I accept them equally.
Dang.
I love that.
I love that too. I'm like really trying to like capture it and bottle it. So tomorrow I'm like, remember what Kelsey said?
Exactly. Yes, I know. Over and over and over again.
Because like the body that you live in, like you can't run away from it.
No.
Like, you know what I mean? It's not like a problem that you're like, oh, it's a job, I don't like this. Oh, it's a person, I don't like this. It's like you're in your body for forever. So like, how do you come to like appreciate and be so grateful for the body that you have and not sit there and like demonize it for what it's not doing for you. And I think it's just like learning how to like you said, surrender and accept and grieve. Because like I used to run a lot, and I don't want to run anymore, even though I'm like, I want to like do like a marathon, but like my brain's like, but you'll never be as fast as you used to be. Like you'll never make that PR time and like all that kind of stuff. But it's like, that's okay. Like I'm moving my body and I'm like overcoming a goal and like a challenge, and I have to remember what you said. I'm gonna like try and in my head. You talked about sometimes like anxiety, imposter syndrome, and all the kind of stuff that you deal with personally. What has it been like to start your business and overcome challenges in your business? Because I think that, we see a lot of people who are like, you can start a business and it's easy, but like, it's not. I didn't want to look at y'all because I can see the eye roll. People, you start a business and like whatever, but like the actual following through and also like seeing the success that you have and the connections that you've made, like how have you done it and overcome those challenges? Because I'm assuming that there has been challenges.
There's been more challenges than good parts, I would say. Something that has always really kind of stuck to me, and maybe this is the case for some other people listening, and maybe it's not. I've always had this very deep sense that the work that I was going to do was going to be powerful, and that I had to believe in myself, even when I didn't see the seeds coming to life I planted a lot of seeds over a long time, and I waited and I waited and I waited, and I literally was like, I'm done with this garden. These plants are dead. And then just as I was kind of making that pivot, everything started to flourish that I planted over these years. And I've spoken about this before on other podcasts, but right at when I was kind of making this pivotal change in my life, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go. I've been self-employed for 14 years.
Wow.
Yeah. And so I was like, you know what, I'm getting a 9-to-5. I need stability in my life. Like I gotta get like this corporate job. Because I just feel more financially secure and I'll feel more stable, and maybe X, Y, and Z will happen. I went to like 3 job interviews. Keep in mind, I had like no resume because I've been self-employed for 14 years. I'm like, what can you do? I'm like, literally everything. I've been self-employed. Didn't get any of the jobs. I don't know, looking at me, can you guys see me as like an office manager? No. Okay. So right as I made that decision, I had like rejection. I was like, you know what? I think I might like start working with clients and just see if I can explore online fitness. And lo and behold, the universe was like, girl,
this is it.
Like all of the things you've done, all of the hardships you've had, all of the connections and community events and all of the workouts you've created and all of these things, finally it made sense.
Yeah.
It had purpose. I was like, there is so much more that I can offer that I haven't even tapped into yet. And that's really, I think when I made that mental decision, there was no going back. There was no going back. That was it.
And then you were like, let's go. And then you were just like poured its blessings on you.
Yeah. And for the longest time, I didn't believe in that. I really didn't think, like, I kept thinking, you know, I'm working, like, when is this ever going to happen for me? And I realized I'm the one that had to make that decision.
Wow.
Rather than wait for the universe. I just had to make the decision. Yeah. So, you know, expect success. Expect it.
That's going to be the tagline.
Yes, expect it.
2 words. What is it like to work like with clients one-on-one? Like when they like sign up to do that for you? Because I know that like you have a whole bunch of classes that I take, and I'm like watching you on YouTube and like following along and everything. But like people actually sign up to do one-on-one with you. So what is it like?
They were. I took a hiatus from one-to-one in January of this year.
Okay.
But I've been doing one-to-one personal training for about 14 years. And I look at it, I don't know, I feel like I'm the same exact person as I am, like in person, online, one-on-one.
I'm definitely getting that now.
You know, I love to be invested in the person.
Yeah.
I not just like in their fitness, but like who they are. I want to see the impact of your wellness in how it impacts your life, your relationships, your work, how you show up better for your children. Like that's so important to me because I see the power of fitness and I see it happen. And so, you know, working with me one-on-one, I love that. You know, I want to be able to like do some squats and also talk about the newest episode of Love Island.
Yeah.
I think it's more like it feels like I'm working out with my bestie comes from.
Yes, exactly.
Right? So there's that aspect to it, and it's really for me giving people the tools so that they have the confidence within themselves that they can go out and continue this journey on their own. That's what's most important for me, working with clients to one-on-one. But just I've taken the hiatus just simply because lack of time, because I am working with so many more people on a collective level, and just being able to reach more than just with what's in my immediate community. The internet allows me to do. So.
In other words, she's busy.
She's busy.
Girl is booked and busy. I love it.
That is my next question because
blessings.
exactly, I have seen you on like trips and like you know traveling and everything.
Get flued out and everything.
Exactly, and I'm just like, and you're like, stay tuned, like for all the things that are coming.
And we're like, yes, we are. Where you at, girl?
What has been like the adventures that you've gone on as Healthy with Kelsey?
My goodness, I always say there's 2 that really stand out for me that were like absolutely pivotal.
Yeah.
And the first one was last year. I went out to Spain and I worked with an app.
Yes.
And it was so much fun. We created content around like a summer challenge in Ibiza. And it was incredible. I was like, I can't believe I want to be paid to be here.
Yeah.
Flown here.
Yeah.
Like, oh my goodness. I'm like, me? Little me. So I think, you know, there was that one, but then obviously I think everyone wants to hear about Essence Fest.
Yes.
I was in New Orleans in late June, early July this year for Essence Fest, and it changed me.
Wow.
It changed me in the sense that, like, you know, coming from a place where we don't have a lot of representation.
Yep.
I was just like being surrounded by Black women, like all weekend long was just so powerful and felt like it just healed me in a way that I deeply, deeply needed. Just to see everyone stand in their power and like wear their hair in different ways and have all this beautiful self-expression and just like be centered in every single aspect of the weekend was like, I gotta bring this home somehow. Like, how do I contain this energy that I feel here and bring it back and spread that here?
Black Women Connect Vancouver events. That's how. Hey.
Listen, I've been saying there's no reason for Canada not to have something like Essence Fest.
Yeah.
There's absolutely no reason.
Honestly.
Because you look at Toronto, you look at Montreal,
Yeah.
you look at Ottawa.
There's enough.
Then you go to the prairies, and like
They're there.
We're here. There is not something that needs to come and bring us all together in one central place because it's possible.
Yeah.
We just need to do it.
So
And hopefully, that's why now the Times is gearing up.
Maybe 10 years from now.
Exactly. Don't even worry about it. She gonna bring her
I
for
got
you.
you.
She gonna bring her for you.
Who
Unless
knows? Who knows what the world next?
exactly.
Honestly.
Exactly.
Planting the seed.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly. Let's hear
We
it.
need it.
I'm like sitting here like seething with jealousy because I really wanted to.
Yeah,
go to
you
Essence
wanted to
Fest.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness,
Like,
you
for the
wanted to
last
go
couple
so
years, I was
bad.
like, I want to get on
Yeah.
You have. And no one, so I'm gonna do it before I turn 35. I got 2 more years.
Do it.
I'm here for it.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna
Do it.
do it. Okay, so you work out in cute sets all the time.
Elle's a
Just
girl.
this girl is all set.
Like, and not like workout sets, but like cute. Like top.
Yeah,
skirt,
yeah.
Like that's my thing. But like people underestimate the power of a good workout set.
Thank you.
Like it's
I agree.
actually true. Like again, it's a like confidence thing. I'm think you know what I mean. Like you see yourself, you're like, oh babe, that like
Honestly, when
Is
you
that
feel
you?
cute, when you look cute, feel cute, it changes the whole mood.
It really does. It
Honestly.
really does. How you view yourself is so important. And one thing I want to say about that too is I think that sometimes we view ourselves negatively when we are experiencing things on like a mental, emotional level in a negative way. Even if it has nothing to do with our physical appearance.
Yeah.
You know, if you're going through something that day, you're going to see yourself in a more negative light.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with your actual appearance. And vice versa, right? You're having a really good day, you got that job promotion, like life is good. You're going to be like, damn, girl.
Yes.
Feeling, yeah,
Let's go.
feeling yourself.
At least I do.
No,
Over there.
I'm a Leo.
Right? So, like, you know, wear workout clothes, wear clothing that makes you feel like the best version of yourself. Because sometimes when you're not feeling it, just that little glance over in the mirror when you know you're looking good is enough to really just elevate that out of you, that energy and that mood.
That's true. But like, okay, also like, where do you get?
Girl needs to get the links.
Give me the plug.
She needs the plugs.
But mainly because like I don't want to go into a space that like double petite zero. I'm not a double petite zero, so then I'm putting on your clothes and I'm like oversizing. I'm just like, oh.
Yeah.
So like, where do you get sets that like fit you and look cute? And you're like, you know.
Is it mostly online?
Mostly.
Yeah.
Okay.
However, I'm going to give like 2 examples of places that I both love at polar opposite ends of the spectrum in terms of cost.
Yeah.
I freaking love, and maybe this is like the 15-year-old in me, no judge. I love Aerie. I love American Eagle. Like, their workout sets are so cute. They have like these V leggings that are super flattering. And and it's usually affordable, and they've got good sales. So
And sizing?
a little plug for Aerie. Yeah, they've got a great size range as well.
Okay.
And I also really love Girlfriend.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys have heard of them.
No.
They do sell it here as well in the Lower Mainland at a couple of different places. I think the latest Scoop.
Okay.
They carry them in store. But you can definitely shop them online, and they have a great size range, and they have the best matching sets. And of course, you know, Vancouver girl here, Lululemon.
Yeah.
I knew you were gonna say that.
I know. Lululemon has been something I've worn for years.
Yeah.
Like I remember my very first pair of like groove pants with like the white stripe around the top in 2009. Okay, there's only like 3 pairs of pants, and I had those ones. So yeah, I mean, shameless plug for them. They have really come a long way in terms of their representation, diversity, and having a more inclusive size range. I think they have space to grow, and hopefully I'll continue to keep whispering in their ear about that.
Yes, please do.
But yeah, they've got some really cute matching sets, and I'm a matching set girl, so
I love it.
Set girlies.
Set
Love
girlies
it.
for sure.
got it.
Okay, the last question that I have. What is something that you want to say to anyone listening who is wanting to start their fitness journey, or maybe who wants to make it in the fitness coach industry?
Ooh, I feel like those are 2 very separate things.
Well, pick one then.
Okay. I would say, okay, let's say somebody wants to become a fitness coach in this industry. I think if there is something holding you back and you're thinking it's something about your physical appearance, your anything, your lack of ability, your lack of knowledge, your lack of education, your lack of whatever it might be that's holding you back, know that there is space for you in this industry. There is space for us all, and it doesn't matter if there's even 100 people who do the same thing as you. It's not you. You are unique in what you do, and you're always going to be different because simply it's you.
Yeah.
And so, if you don't see the table, create the table, and then invite other people to that table.
Damn. Abby got snaps. That was good. My favorite part is the invite other people.
Yes.
Thank you. No gatekeeping.
We rise by lifting
gatekeeping.
We rise by lifting others, and I truly believe that from like the bottom of my soul.
Yeah.
It's very easy to have success and then keep that forward-looking trajectory and not think about the other people who could follow in your footsteps. And to me, as I've grown, as I've become more successful, I've become so much more invested in my legacy and being able to help other people rise with me. Because I think collectively, if we do that, there is space for us all, and we can really make huge waves by doing that.
Yeah, I fully agree. I love that. Yes.
Wow.
It's so good.
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us.
What a fun episode.
That was such a good episode.
It's like therapy also.
Yes, I know, exactly.
I healed a lot. I laughed a lot. That was amazing.
And there's a lot to take away.
Yeah.
Which,
Yeah, we really appreciate
yes,
this.
we do.
It's been a long time coming. We finally made it work.
yes.
Oh, so exciting.
So good. And hopefully this won't be the last time.
No, it will not. This is the first of many. Follow Healthy with Kelsey on all the platforms. Follow us. You can get the episode on YouTube. You can find it on Instagram and TikTok. We'll put little plugs and little videos, and you'll hear our annoying little voices online.
And all streaming platforms.
All streaming platforms. Yes. If the podcast episode, listen, please. Thank you so much. Yes. Thank you, everyone. I hope you have a great day. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to our podcast episode. You can find us on all streaming platforms, and you can watch our video recording up on YouTube channel, Black Women Connect Vancouver. Until next time.